Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine. This is all about YouTube. This is all about YouTube, so it's a bit of a different video. So not everyone is going to have much of an interest in this, but it's an observational thing. But it's also, I think, gives. I hope this video helps other people who are doing YouTube videos, and I hope it also helps other people who have been doing YouTube videos for ages. But I also want it to kind of go out and help other people who are thinking, how do I even get onto channels like Now Spinning Magazine or similar things? I said a few months ago now, and I've hinted at it in my channel update videos on and off all the time, but I made a definitive statement, I think 2 months ago, saying that I was no longer following the numbers or looking at statistics. I just dropped it. I'd said before that I wasn't going to be bullied by an algorithm or a bit of computer code. I basically said, I'm not having it. I'm not having, I don't want to be in this situation where YouTube, there are people frightened of YouTube thinking, oh my God, how do I keep making more revenue and all the rest of it? And, I'm trying to, what does the algorithm want from me? The way I view this is that YouTube should feel lucky that I decide to share some of my content upon its platform. That's the way I view it. It's not a foregone conclusion. I can put it in other places should I wish to. Because I've seen that some other people running YouTube channels, it doesn't matter what niche they're in, are saying that views are down, money's down, and they're trying to think, what do they need to do to get the views up? I think once you start chasing that, you're on almost like a death spiral in some ways for creativity. Now, there are lots of different ways that people do similar things to me. There are tons of people that do things to me. And of the channels that I'll mention, I'm tiny compared to most of them. And everyone has a different view, and everyone's kind of looking over the fence to see what is the best thing, what will bring in the most views, how will I become more successful. It's really stressful. The way I view this is, as I've always said, Now Spinning Magazine, the ethos is I'm meeting someone down the pub on a Friday night to talk about music, to talk about the music I've discovered, I've heard in the week, and what album I might have bought, and I'm having over a few drinks. That's it. And when I'm meeting this person who's a bit like me, because like-minded people, I'm trying to talk to like-minded people because I just want to, I want to just have a nice chat to people. I don't go to that pub thinking, what have I got to be like? What have I got to be like so people like me more? How should I act? I'm just going to be myself. In fact, YouTube, when it was launched, actually said, now you can broadcast yourself. And I think that is a key thing. And the other thing is that you have to enjoy what you're doing. If you make content about stuff you love, about subjects you love, then not only is it fun, but it's effortless. It just comes from the heart. And if you try and be something you're not, people will tell, and it will be really difficult, and you'll do re-edits, and it won't be quite right, and you'll be worried about what people think of it. Since I've let go of all of that, I don't worry about anything, and I know I should worry about the way I pronounce some things. I'm trying to work on that, but other than that, I just do what I do. I mean, I know you can do. There's this way of editing where the person you're watching keeps moving backwards and forwards. It's really fast editing. Apparently, it works really well on YouTube. It just feels like something extra to do. Maybe AI can help you with that. I don't know, but if I watch the TV, people aren't doing that. And most people actually don't even watch me at all. They listen to what I'm saying, because most of what I do goes out as a podcast across Apple and Amazon and Spotify as well anyway. But it was something that Pete Pardo said at Tranquility, and he's obviously thinking about his programming and the kind of content he does. And my view is Pete is an absolute inspiration. Pete Pardo and Sea of Tranquility, absolute inspiration. Such a nice guy, such a knowledgeable, inspirational guy who just loves and passion for music is just absolutely amazing. I don't know how he does so much content and has a full-time job as well, and everything else that you have when you're getting on a bit. Not getting on a bit. I am. Pete isn't. I'm the oldest person in the YouTube niche for the music, I think. But how he does all of this stuff is just, I just don't know how he keeps up with it all. But I don't think Pete has anything to worry about. He's got 110,000 subscribers. I'm nowhere near anything like that. How would I feel if I was had that many subscribers? I'd just probably be just doing what I do now. But because I've mentioned age, I probably can say this is that I worked out, well, I might get to that level probably by the time I reach my 70s. And do I really want to be working flat out in my 70s when I don't even know if I'm going to be lucky enough to be here then, chasing views? I'd rather just be doing what I do because I love doing it, talking to like-minded people, and whether that is half a dozen in my imaginary pub in my head, or whether it's a few thousand. And the other thing that I thought about is the algorithm loves hate. It loves that kind of stuff. And there's no problem with that. I think when I did a video like this before, I kind of made out as if there was an issue with that. There's no issue with that because it works. Barry at Classic Album Review. I'm friends with Barry. I'm friends with Andy Edwards. I've been on Andy Edwards' channel a few times. They do that so well. Andy Edwards is a respected musician. He's played with Robert Plant. He's a very talented guy. And Barry is just genius at what he does. The way he can do those videos, and then he does those videos where he brings up all the kind of troll comments and literally puts them in the stocks in real time and tears them down. Absolute talent. And I can't do that because I'd be trying to be like Barry, wouldn't I? Barry does that better than anyone else because he's Barry being Barry. And it works. And I know when if I do look at my stats and it shows me the channels that people watch who also watch me, Andy Edwards, Sea of Tranquility, Barry at Classic Album Review. So people just move around to what they want to watch. And that's what programming is, isn't it? And obviously Scott, Prog Corner, and Grant at the Rock Warehouse, Martin Popoff, Brendan, also one of my favourites, and Larry Graves as well. These are all people I absolutely love. If I'd have the ultimate panel for YouTube, it would be all those guys in the same room. And each one of us is different. Each one of us has a different slant on things. I think my approach has been is that I just thought, something that Pete mentioned, he talked about he'd like to do a ranking of all the Bee Gees albums, but he's probably concerned about how his core audience will respond to that. I moved away from that some time ago when I did a review of a box set by Deacon Blue. I had someone reach out and say, Phil, that was a real wrong step because we're here for the metal. I deliberately called myself Now Spinning Magazine, and Sea of Tranquility was a magazine, so Pete's been way ahead of any thinking really I've had, is that I just want to be able to cover everything. I am rock centric, but I can cover soul, funk, jazz, classical music with Sue, and I know someone, I like that video that Phil does, I didn't like that one, I didn't like this, I do like that one. I just think it's a bit like, the main thing for me is community. Community is everything. And a community is like a small village, that there'll be shops in the village, and I won't go to every shop in the village because some of the shops aren't of no interest to me. And there might be 2 or 3 different restaurants, but I have my favourite one. So I produce content that I know that not everyone is going to like. But some people will, and some people may subscribe. Some people will dip in and out. Some people will never subscribe. Doesn't matter. And I also, at one point, stopped doing as many interviews because I thought, well, no one watches interviews. What's the point? That damage my channel. I would say that 9 out of 10 of my videos get not a warning, but anyone who has a YouTube channel will know this. You get a message that says, it usually says 9 out of 10. This video is being seen by fewer. Your subscribers are showing less interest in this than your usual videos. But I would say that 90% of my videos get messages like that. So I'm not quite sure what they mean when I find one that suddenly they go, oh, everyone likes this, Phil. It's been given a more of a reach. I like interviewing people. I like doing that. So I'm going to do more interviews, and I'm going to do more interviews with bands that have got hardly any reach at all, which means probably about 150 people will watch. But those 150 people, 5 of them might go out and buy that band's album or go and see them live. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth doing. That's the enjoyment of being true to yourself and wanting to do this. Now, this is my full-time job, whereas a lot of the other people I've mentioned, a lot of them, it isn't their full-time job. They have other jobs and they do this on the side. I don't class myself as a YouTuber. I run Now Spinning magazine, but I am old enough to remember MySpace and Google+. Does anyone remember them? If you invest your entire world on one platform that you're renting space from, you are vulnerable to an algorithm change or someone going, do you know what? We're going to change the percentage of money we give out on this stuff. It's well scary. So I have an amount that I would like to earn from YouTube. And I don't necessarily want it to go too much above that, so it becomes like that important. But it's an amount, and based on where I am, I'm doing that. And then I have a certain amount that comes from subscribers and patrons and Ko-fi and all of that. Then I have an amount that comes from affiliate marketing and merch sales and advertising and sponsorship. So there are other ways that money comes in. So if one of them drops off, there are others to pick up the pace. And also, if you do what you love, and someone said this to me, and I put this in one of my other videos, when you do what you love, you're a very rich person. And I love doing this. I love the people I've met. I love talking to the artists and the bands. I love the community. I love the laughs we have in the WhatsApp group. I love the new music I've been introduced to. I love talking about my favourite stuff. I just love doing it. And I love the spontaneity, because you probably noticed how rubbish I am at keeping to certain things happening on certain days. You know, I'll do like Music Biz Chat and people will think, oh, is this a weekly thing? Sometimes. Always Phil's weekly playlist video. I really like that. Does that come out weekly? Sometimes. And other things, they're going to do a ranking video, I'm going to do this, and some things stop and they're basically done in the moment. I'll suddenly think, I'd like to talk about that. A bit like when I go down to the pub on a Friday, like I used to do. I didn't used to think, well, right, I'm going out with my mates Friday. So what was it? I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. You just order the drinks at the bar and you sit down and you start talking, don't you? And then someone says something and you think, and you end up talking about something at depth that you didn't even know you were going to talk about. I like that. So there's a bit of, I know that's probably not very professional, is it, perhaps? But it works for me. And that's what I like to do. And so every so often I have a look, and I'm very blessed that what I do, for those of you watching on YouTube, the YouTube channel is growing. It's getting bigger and more popular, and it's getting more influence, and especially within the music industry and bands, which is what I always wanted to happen. The community is getting bigger. The website is doing incredibly well, and there's some really exciting news about to be announced to do with how we're moving into kind of more kind of stuff to buy musically as well in 2026. But it has to be fun and effortless. And the thing is, for those of you who've got smaller channels than me, if you're yourself, completely just be yourself, then no one else can do that. And if you are yourself, you have no competitors. You have no if you're yourself, there are no competitors. You're good to go. You're good to turn all the engines on, go down the runway and take off. If you just be yourself and imagine I imagine I'm talking to one person when I do these, just someone who's probably a bit like me, which may not be a good or bad thing. I don't know, but it works. And I just imagine I'm talking to one person, and it's effortless. And if you are completely yourself, you have no competitors. I have a lot of people you see on YouTube outside of the music niche saying, check up what your competitors are doing and what's happening, how you do this, do shorts, do this. I don't have any, because I'm just doing what I would like to do. And if there's somebody that likes what I do, I know I waffle too much, and I get a bit tongue-tied sometimes. But I love doing these, and I want to continue to do this as long as I can. But my message to fans of Sea of Tranquility, because I know I was mentioned a few times in the comments of the recent video, is absolutely fantastic channel. Absolutely fantastic channel. I've been on videos with Pete and Scott and Grant and Brendan and Larry and everybody, and they're just such lovely people. And I feel blessed to be part of all of this. But I'm happy where the way things are going, where they are, and I wouldn't want to force myself into a thing that wasn't me, because you'd notice. And I think that when you see someone who loves what they do and excited about what they do, it kind of hopefully becomes a little bit infectious, and you kind of like, it breaks up the day. And that's why I've got full respect for people like Barry and Andy Edwards, who do a different thing, because people love that as well. It's funny, and they do it so well. Andy's did a video called 10 Reasons Why He Hates Rush. But he's a drummer. He can talk about stuff like, and it's really funny. But that's not me. And I'd be, if that's you, again, set your coordinates and off you go. But if you're having to, in any way, change your personality to do that, thinking it might make you more successful or bring in more views, be very careful, because it's a bit like wearing a mask. I remember some of you, I no longer have that kind of job. But remember when you had a job and you worked in a factory or an office, and you'd go into, there's like a political aspect of a career path, and you'd literally wear a mask as you walk around the office thinking, this is how you act, this is how you behave, because I want to get on, I want to get picked, I want to be promoted. And you're trying to be somebody so that your boss or someone else of influence will think that you are like a certain thing, so they'll push you forwards. God, that's stressful. All that competitiveness, I'm thinking this person's going to get picked instead of me, they're going to subscribe to them instead of me. I turn up here just as Phil Aston, sitting in a little house somewhere in Cornwall in the UK. If you met me in a pub, I'd be like this. There'd be no difference. There's no mask. I'm not trying to be anything. And I'm just who I am. And if a few more people come along and go, it's worth watching him. But it's also worth watching all these other ones. As I said, where I have looked at the analytics, it shows me the other channels that people watch as well as me. It makes sense. Sometimes you want to watch a thriller, and sometimes you want to chill out with a cup of tea, and listen to someone wax lyrical about the sun going down or something. I don't know, but we're all different, and it's cool, isn't it? I think that'll do for this video, which is because otherwise I can just feel it. I'm just going to never stop. Anyway, music is the healer and the doctor. That's the key thing, isn't it? Music is the healer and the doctor. It makes us smile. It makes us feel good. But if you want to be with like-minded people, there's the sales pitch, then become a patron or YouTube member, and you can join the Facebook group. There's about 1,500 people in there. The WhatsApp group, which is so busy with different things going on. The pub, the Now Spinning Arms pub, our own little cosy pub. You bring your own beer. We meet via Zoom. And there's, you can merch, so you can walk around the world saying, look who I am. I've met this bloke called Phil. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. This is pretty off the wall video, isn't it? But at the time we were doing this, everybody, this is going to date it. It's nearly December, so I'm going to put the Christmas tree up soon. But take care, all of you. Keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.